karate. Well, I was astounded by what they were teaching. Child Protective Services did show up at my house. Parents are fearful of losing custody of their children because they say the wrong thing.
Damn. That's what most of the roofs here are made out of. It's like, I can't believe the firemen aren't here blowing this out.
I know. I don't know what's going on.
Well, there's no cell service. There's no internet.
Right, but this fire is huge.
I know. It's just jumping everywhere.
I'm sure they know it's here, right?
Look at this.
Like, this is... Oh, fuck.
God damn it. His motorcycle's gonna catch.
We are going to begin with the tough stuff, the news. The news out of Hawaii is not good this morning. Officials are at last responding to the outrage over the response to the wildfires, and the death toll has risen to 111. Emergency managers are defending their decision not to activate warning sirens, suggesting that those sirens might have confused residents who are used to hearing tsunami alerts instead.
Do you regret not sounding the sirens?
I do not.
I sat up on top of the roof and I battled the fire for about 3 hours. I couldn't do it anymore. And then I said, I have to move. And then I ran to the ocean and I gave in.
So you literally saved yourself by jumping into the ocean?
Yes.
When you turned around and looked back, what'd you see?
Devastation.
This morning, new reports of roadblocks and confusing communication contributing to the chaos in Lahaina on the night of the deadly fire. Now, we've spoken to many people who say Front Street became a traffic jam. Video of the aftermath shows lines of cars charred when flames overtook them. The Associated Press reports that utility crews had blocked at least one road out of Lahaina and were trying to turn drivers back towards town to prevent them from driving over downed power lines. One family ignored the barricade and drove to safety. Another family turned out of standstill traffic onto a dirt road to eventually get to Napili. A third family drove the wrong way down Front Street to escape the firestorm. Survivors say by about 4 p.m., the place was an inferno.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
And Bridget Namata.
850 people are still missing from the Maui wildfires. That's according to Maui Mayor Richard Bisson. 1,285 people were successfully found and confirmed safe. Bisson says the Red Cross, FBI, Maui Police, and emergency management agencies are working together on the missing persons list. This as authorities continue to identify recovered remains. So far, 27 people have been identified and 11 families notified.
A pain and suffering has turned to anger for some residents tonight after national news reports saying FEMA workers have turned the tragedy into a vacation. Our Jelani Martinez joins us now with the details.
Steph, those reports came out just yesterday on Fox News and the Daily Mail. Evacuees say it's upsetting to see photos of federal employees in five-star resorts, knowing homes in Lahaina were burned to the ground.
FEMA booked themselves into five-star luxury Hawaiian resorts.
These photos making national news headlines, calling attention to FEMA workers on Maui in what appears to show them relaxing in five-star hotels. At the cocktail bar and at a registration desk at the Grand Wailea, another photo shows FEMA workers on their laptops at the Fairmont Kealani. It's rubbing devastated Lahaina residents the wrong way as they deal with the deaths of more than 100 people and a historic community wiped out.
We go now to Hawaii's Governor, Joshua Green, in Honolulu. Good morning. Thank you for getting up so early, and I'm so sorry for what is going on in your state.
Thank you, Margaret.
Governor, can you tell us how many are still unaccounted for, and how long will it take to identify remains?
More than 1,000 are unaccounted for, about 1,050. It will take several weeks still. Some of the challenges are going to be extraordinary. As you reported, 85% of the land of the impact zone has been covered now by what amounts to an army of search and rescue teams and 41 dogs. So at 85% of the land's been covered. Because of the temperature of the fire, the remains of those who have died, in some cases, may be impossible to recover meaningfully. So there are going to be people that are lost forever.
That is hard to hear, Governor. I know a local Maui official said a large number of the dead may have actually been children who were left home that day because schools were closed, many of them alone or with their grandparents. Is that the case?
That is possible. That's what we're sharing here internally. That is possible that there will be many children.
As we've been discussing, there are now a lot of questions about all of the policies and procedures. The National Weather Service had issued a fire watch for your state August 6th, a few days before the fire hit. With the siren system, you said to CNN on Monday and again on Tuesday that you believe some of the sirens were broken. When did you learn they weren't fully functional?
Do I wish those sirens went off? Of course I do. And I think that the answer that the emergency administrator from Maui, who's resigned, said was, of course, utterly unsatisfactory to the world.
I understand. And I know that you are conducting a review, but given that your state is experiencing a drought and you're in hurricane season, can you say whether other Hawaiian towns are as vulnerable as Lahaina was?
We worry about a lot of our state. Waikoloa on the Big Island, which was experiencing a fire at the same time and required evacuations. We're worried about them. We worry about all of our state. Some of the state, which is denser and more urban, like Waikiki, has a lot more water and a lot more firefighters, a lot more support.
Yeah.
Oahu has 3/4 of the population of the state. But we've had, although it's not been reported in the press, we've had multiple small fires, some on Oahu, some on Big Island, of course, more on Maui, even in the days since the fire. Yes, we're worried, and we have done all that we can at the moment to continue to warn people that this is a season of fire, and everyone, of course, doesn't need more reminding because of what happened in Lahaina.
There has been scrutiny of the largest utility, Hawaiian Electric, because there were images, I know you know this, of power lines possibly starting fires. Last year, that company had proposed an upgrade of the grid with Lahaina as a priority area and suggested a rate hike to do that. Do you know why that didn't happen and if that contributed?
I don't know personally whether or not the power lines were the primary reason the fire occurred. That's why I asked for a comprehensive review, I think 2 days into this, which is very atypical. Normally, these kind of investigations come months or more later, but this is the world that we live in now. In this case, and I've seen footage of it from some of the survivors, I've seen footage of how it looked during the fire and how things were exploding and what the fierce winds looked like. They were 80 miles per hour gusting. And the fire, I'm now told, was as high as 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It just destroyed everything. It's not to excuse anything else from any company. It's just to explain what the world should prepare for.
Of Lahaina, the total number of people still unaccounted for is rising.
We don't want to leave any stone unturned, so we're considering everybody on that list until we can prove that they shouldn't be on that list.
Overnight, 8 more victims' identities revealed, nearly all of them in their 60s and 70s, despite growing concern about how many children may have died. The FBI says no one on the list has a birth date of a minor.
We've heard from parents who've said they've lost their kids. Do you think it's even possible that there's no minors on the list? How could there be this sort of conflicting information?
One of our reporters at our news organization found that he had 3 family members that were in a car and they couldn't get out and they were surrounded by the flames. And that's where they spent their last moments.
Welcome to the News and Why It Matters. I am Sarah Gonzalez, and today, Joe and Dr. Jill Biden took a break from one of their many beach vacations in Delaware to finally make their way over to Maui to visit the damage from the fires that ravaged the area.
The blame for the fires of West Maui is falling upon Hawaiian Electric, who knew as early as 4 years ago that there was a risk of fire due to their own negligence in maintaining power lines. But they did nothing. Hawaiian Electric, who is owned by Vanguard and BlackRock, has been shifting their focus to clean energy. And in order to build back better, the old system must first be destroyed. And so the power was left on to feed the flames.
I thought I'd start with this news, which apparently people have forgotten. So only 600 students of about 3,000 students in Lahaina are accounted